You could be owed about $2,900 right now from the IRS and not even know it. It's not a loophole, it's not a scam, and I'm not here to sell you anything. It's a program that Congress made back in the 1970s, and it was made for people who do not make a lot of money. The government's own numbers say only 1 in 5 people who qualify for it ever collect it. So when I first heard about this program, I thought it was probably because someone forgot to just check a checkbox on their form. And that's what a lot of people would think. But it turns out that that's only 2% of the people that don't collect this that are owed it. Where it actually comes from is people who never filed. And the reason they never filed is often because someone told them they didn't earn enough money, so they don't have to file, which is true. But the problem is by them not filing, they didn't get to collect that money that was owed to them. So typically how you do your taxes is when you get credits, it goes against what you earned and it takes it off of that. So if you owe nothing, you get nothing in return. However, this is different. This is refundable. What that means is if you've got more credits than what you actually owe, they'll give you a refund called Earned Income Tax Credits. And that's what this is, the EITC. So how do you determine whether or not that's you? How far are you allowed to go back? And how do you actually claim these if you forgot to do it? And that's what I'm going to tell you today. So again, the EITC is for people who work that don't earn much, and you could get it even if you don't owe any taxes. So you could have paid nothing, owed nothing at the end, and still be owed money from the IRS. It's not a loophole and it's not a mistake. That's the whole purpose of this. It was so Congress wrote this law to top up low wages, and it's been doing it since the 70s. So let me give you the real numbers. The average credit tax year 2024 was about $2,900. Most you could get for the tax year of 2025 is $649 with no kids, $4,328 with one child, $7,152 with two, and $8,046 with three or more. Remember, this isn't for people who filed and forgot to check a box. This is usually for people who never filed. So you're going to see everywhere that 1 out of every 5 people that are owed this never collected it. And that's a true figure. So 4 out of 5 people do get it. The 1 out of 5 isn't because they forgot to check a box. And the research behind it is solid. The Census Bureau and the IRS matched against tax records and reported incomes and found that 1 out of 5 people who were owed it didn't claim it. And so 3 researchers from the IRS went back and checked, and they determined it wasn't because of that checkbox. The 3 researchers pulled administrative data, looked back over the records of 22 million people, and found about 450,000 people who didn't claim it. And here's what they said, and I'm going to go ahead and read this off to you. Table 2 indicates that very few taxpayers who appear eligible for EITC failed to claim the credit on their return. So basically what that is saying is if you filed your return, you almost certainly claimed it. 98% of the people did. So if you check, you're going to see everywhere that 1 out of 5 people didn't claim their earned income tax credit. And that's actually true. The Census Bureau and the IRS took a survey where they matched against real people's income, matched against actual tax records, and counted how many eligible people got paid. 4 out of 5 did. 1 out of 5 got nothing. And the obvious assumption is those people filed their tax returns and forgot to check a box. If you filled it out on paper by hand, that went from 98% of the people got it to 57% of the people that got it. So paid preparer, software, 98%. You filled it out by hand on paper, 57%. So think about this. This is a credit that exists specifically for people like this, and they're not getting it. That could be you. But most of the missing money isn't there either. The gap is most people never filed at all. But put those numbers side by side. Something doesn't add up. 1 in 5 eligible people get nothing. That's 20%. But 2 out of 100 people, but amongst the group that file, it's about 2 in 100. Those can't both describe the same group. So where's everyone else? They never filed. That's the answer. The money's not sitting with people who filed a return. It's for people who thought they didn't have to file a return, and so they never did. And if you ask them why they didn't file a return, they give you a very reasonable answer. They didn't make enough money. They don't have to pay taxes on it. And that would be true. But the thing is, it doesn't matter because this is refundable. Even if they don't owe anything, even if they paid nothing into it, they still get a refund. And that's the whole thing. You could be owed $3,000 and lose it just because you did the right thing by not having to file. So what can you actually do about it? There's 2 situations, 2 forms, and a deadline. Here's what it actually takes, and it splits 2 ways depending on where you're starting. If you filed a return and you didn't claim it, that's an amended return, Form 1040X. You could file it electronically and have money sent straight to your bank. If you never filed at all, you're going to use Form 1040. And if you had a qualifying kid at the time, you're going to use Schedule EIC. If you did not have a qualifying kid, then you're not going to use that. Either way, you get 3 years, so you don't want to miss it. Here are the dates. I'm going to go ahead and read them to you. Tax year 2023, filed by April 15th, 2027. Tax year 2024, filed by April 17th, 2028. Tax year 2022 is closed on April 15th, 2026, so unfortunately that one's already gone. And just so you know, it's slow. The IRS says allow to 8 to 12 weeks for amended return, and sometimes it could take up to 16 weeks. There's a tracker called Where's My Amended Return, and a phone number you could call, which is 866-464-2050. It's English or in Spanish. Give it a call to check yours. Give it 3 weeks before you start checking. And one more thing to set expectations, and this kind of panics people, so you just want to make sure you remember this. These type of refunds, amended returns, they're held until the middle of February. If you file in January and nothing shows up for 6 weeks, there's nothing wrong. That's normal. That delay is actually written into the statute. So another thing that you need to be made aware of, because this happens to a lot of people and they don't realize that it's an actual official letter. They'll get the letters and they think it's a scam. Unfortunately, nowadays, you have to be really cautious of scams, whether it's through email or even normal mail. And so they'll throw this letter away or they don't look at it. These are real letters. Often the IRS will identify this for you and let you know that, hey, we have money waiting for you. The notice is called CPO9 and the form is 15111 and it's real. Here's how to check. Form 15111 is a worksheet. You fill it in, you send it back in their envelope, and you get 30 days from the date on the letter. So if you haven't checked your mail recently and you notice 10 days have passed, you want to jump on it. What the notice says, and I'll read this to you. You may be eligible for the earned income credit but didn't claim it on your tax return. If it turns out you're not eligible, you could just ignore it. The IRS says to. Nothing happens. And I'm not telling you to trust the CPO9 just because a guy on the internet says to, so go check it out for yourself. Go to irs.gov, type in the search box CPO9, and that's the exact one right there. So if you don't want to do this yourself, there is a way to get help, and there's free help, but the best free help option just disappeared, unfortunately. So given that software filters have been successful 98% of the time, I would just say use free software and make sure that it catches it. There's also IRS Free File, which is free if your income's under a certain level. If you're interested in working with the person, there's also VITA, which are trained volunteers who will do it with you in person at libraries or community centers. And there's a number to find your nearest one, which is 1-800-906-9887. Most of those sites run from late January to April. Both Free File and VITA, I'm not sure if it's pronounced Vita, so I'm just spelling it out. It's capital letters, VITA. They both have income caps, and so you're going to want to look at their websites to find out exactly what those income caps are. And there's a third one. It's a free filing tool from the IRS called Direct File. It goes straight from you to the IRS, no middleman, no upselling, and hundreds of thousands of people use it each year. But unfortunately, it's not available this year. And I know, why'd I even bother telling you that? Well, it's possible that it'll be available for next year if you see this in the future. You're going to want to get the IRS statement on the direct file status. So go ahead and just look that up and find out exactly what it is. So unfortunately, the IRS has two different pages that give two different answers. And this last thing, it's small, but it shows how hard that people are trying to pin this down. One of the pages says 1 out of 5 people haven't claimed it, and another says 1 out of 4 people haven't claimed it. And the 1 in 4 is more recent. That's 25%. So here's what they say from irs.gov. About 1 in 5 taxpayers who are eligible for EITC don't claim this valuable credit. The other one says, the IRS estimates that 1 in 4 eligible workers don't claim their earned EITC. Both are live. Both are from the IRS. The measured number is 80.8%, so the 1 in 5 actually matches it better. But I'm not here to tell you someone's incompetent or someone's not doing their job properly. I'm just letting you know that those are the numbers that they're reporting. And does it really even matter what the odds are if this is money that you qualify for? So if you fit what I've described, then you should try to get it. It's owed to you. It's what Congress passed a law for in the 1970s. So the short version, if you worked and you didn't earn much and you didn't file your taxes, you might be able to claim this. And that could be, on average, $2,900 that you could put into your pocket. If you filed your taxes and you used software or a paid preparer, you most likely got it. There's a 2% chance you didn't, and you could look to see if it's on your tax return. Everything I've said is on IRS.gov, and I'd rather you look at their site than take my word for it. However, I'll put everything in the description so it's easier to find. If you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe and like this video. I'm planning on making more videos to help people either claim money or save money in the future. I'm making this channel for Americans who could use additional resources that they might not know about to help them get by. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.